Hello, everyone's. I am here for my review of Married to Medicine, Season 12, Episode 14, the finale. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am Lady T. I like to do reviews on scripted shows, reality shows, and also the reactions. If you're returning, you one of my peoples, welcome back. Simone and Jackie, they meet up and they discuss the trip to Jamaica and how it was a good time and how Toya and Eugene did a good job, which I agree they did a good job. I didn't mind the fact that they was having like a separating men and women and discussing things. I didn't mind it at all. Some people may have, but I didn't. And this is when Jackie tells Simone how Curtis was sitting in judgment about Quad and King and them being out of order, and that is being the reason why they aren't getting pregnant. And Jackie had to remind him that they had difficulties getting pregnant and their house was in order. It was almost like he was saying, well, if y'all was married, then y'all would be able to get pregnant a lot more easier, but since y'all not married, then that's why you're not getting pregnant. Like, all married people, since they're married, that bam, boom, bam, they get pregnant easily. He is skipping the fact that Quad is of a certain age. Therefore, the after 35 is considered a geriatric pregnancy, meaning that it's higher risk for the mother and the baby. Also, the older you get, it's like the likelihood of you getting pregnant is small. You shorten your chances the older you are. It's not completely unable to get pregnant, but it's a lot harder to get pregnant. And I just did not like the judgment of it all, and I didn't like the unprovokedness of it all. And I don't know why he felt he needed to put his 2 cents in about these two grown people and how they're going about trying to make a baby. The unprovokedness of it all. It wasn't like King was like, man, it's so hard for us to get pregnant. I don't know what to do. That we're trying to this IVF and it's not working. And then Curtis decided to say, well, maybe it's because your house ain't in order. I could understand that. Does not make it right. Let me clear that. Does not make it right. But it was unprovoked. It like they were sitting there having a good time, having a drink. They on the beach. And Curtis was like, you know what? I want to get in somebody else's business, and I feel like being judgy now, and I want to bring the Bible into this, knowing I'm the last person to be bringing the Bible in it. So, King, I need to holler at you right quick. I'm going to judge you, and I think y'all are out of order. If y'all was married, y'all would get pregnant. Now, I'm going to say this. If we're going to get biblical and we're going to bring the Bible in it, how about he who was without sin cast the first stone? It's just like, I want to know, but then at the same time, I don't want to know that why Curtis decided to put his 2 cents in on somebody else's business. And forgetting the fact that his wife is facilitating them to get pregnant. That is her job. Is an OBGYN and a fertility special. This is how she gets paid, and this is how y'all are able to live the life that y'all live. This is how you were able to go on these golf trips with whoever you were with. Of her, one, delivering babies, and two, being a fertility specialist. But no, you want to sit here in judgment about how somebody else is going on. Like, skipping on the fact that, okay, since they're not married, therefore, you ain't gonna be able to get nobody pregnant. Like, there ain't been kids whose parents were not married, or parents didn't even know each other. Or your daddy had a whole other family on the side of the town, but somehow you were still here. Like, being married is the only way that two people are able to get pregnant. Like, it could be that Quad and King together cannot make a baby. But Quad could get pregnant by somebody else, or King could get somebody else pregnant, and them together cannot. And he's making it seem like just being married, bam, boom, bam, you will be able to get pregnant. Sometimes, even if you're married, it's hard to get pregnant. But no, he's going to bring the Bible into this. So now they sitting here, how is Quad going to take this apology? Because Quad is extra and Quad is dramatic. Which I agree. Quad is extra and Quad is dramatic. But if instead for her to be extra or dramatic, it would be this one. Because Curtis decided to sit in judgment about what these two grown people are doing with their lives. Y'all, I have so many questions about this Met Gala. And there are issues. It's been issues from the start, mainly because I believe, this is me, I believe that Jackie and Heavenly secretly want Toya to fail so it can be like, see, I told you it was a bigger job than what you could handle type of situation. And if that's the case, that is messed up that y'all would rather like tarnish the reputation of this Met Gala just to prove a point to Toya. But anyway, Toya only, like, one of the issues is Toya only having herself and Jackie on the website, which I think is messed up. Now, as far as how can I say this? This is what, like, the third Met Gala, so meaning Brandy, Mimi, nor Angel have been a part of this at all. Granted, Mimi did come last season and she did donate, but I don't think she's a part of it. So I wouldn't be so upset if Angel, Brandy, and Mimi were not on the website because they are not the founders, which I'm not really sure who the founders are. And up until this episode, I didn't know what they were raising money for, but now I know that they're raising money so that they can, it's a scholarship for students who are going to med school. I know that now. But Toya has been excluding Brandy, Mimi, and Angel, but she is still expecting them to donate. And I'm thinking this, but I could be totally wrong, that they aren't a part of, they're part of a friend group, but they are not a part of the Met Gala group because they are new here, which I could understand why their names would not be on the program. Yes, I would like for you to donate because this is a good cause, and I want you to buy a ticket to the event because this is a good cause, but this is something we started beforehand, and I can understand why Mimi, Brandy, and Angel's names, faces were not on the website. I just don't understand why Simone, Contessa, and Heavenly's names were not added on there. I thought if anybody else, those three's names should have been Simone, Contessa, and Heavenly. Yeah, their names should have been added to the event. So this is another thing where it's like Toya is doing all these things, but she wants to exclude everybody, exclude some people, but she still wants their money. Mimi and Steve, they have a lot going on. They're juggling a lot of things. They're building a new home, and the area they're building in means that the children would have to change schools. But as of yet, they don't want to change Stevie's school because he needs stability. We all know that he is autistic, so they try to keep as much as a routine to keep his outbursts under control. So they want, as of now, they want to keep him in the same school. But they have started him into speech therapy and anger therapy, which has helped a lot with his outbursts. So now when they go into the store, he's not having to fit when they go past the toy section because he wants a toy. And he's handling his anger more with his sister, which is a good thing because, you know, at one point he would just have these outbursts and he would start hitting. And I didn't like the fact that they wanted Stevie to apologize, and they wanted their daughter, whose name escapes me, which I apologize, to accept his apology. Yes, Stevie should apologize because he was wrong, but if she didn't want to accept his apology at that time, I don't think she should have, because that was sending a signal. Just because somebody hurt you and they apologize, you should accept that apology, and I don't think she should. But I do like that they're getting him into some anger specialist therapy and speech therapy. And I'm no doctor. I cannot diagnose anybody, but I believe that will help out a lot with him as he's getting older, so he can express himself without lashing out, because, you know, he get older and he don't know how to express himself. It could be harmful to others and it could be harmful to himself. They also want to get him into some type of organized sports. I think they tried basketball before, but it was a too slow pace for him. Mimi wants to get him into, I don't want to say regular, but that was the word she used, like a regular program and not so much a special needs one. I have no children, so I don't know whether that would be a good thing or bad thing, but I am like happy that they're getting him some of the help and treatment that he needs to help calm him down. And this is not coming from any type of judgment at all, but I'm wondering why they didn't start the speech therapy and the anger therapy a little bit sooner, because it's seeming like he had been having these anger outbursts for some time now. I could be totally wrong. I don't know, but it's seeming like that has happened in the past. And I think this will actually help Stevie, and it will also help their daughter, because remember, the daughter had to go to like a relative's house so that they can focus more on Stevie. In a sense, like, I don't want to say neglecting, but having to put Stevie and his issues first, and their daughter feeling like a second thought. I don't want to sound too harsh, because like I don't have any kids, so I'm pretty sure that was a difficult decision for them. It's like, we have to help Stevie, but we also don't want to, neglect our daughter and her feelings. We're having more issues with this Met Gala. The ladies don't know where their money is going. And in my opinion, even though Toya was in charge of the event, I think they should have had some meetings where Toya can go over A, B, C, and D, like where the money's going. Like, I believe each of the ladies, minus Mimi, their families each donated $2,500 to this Met Gala. And doing so, they should have been having meetings, and where Toya had it written out what's it called? Like an Excel spreadsheet of where all the money was going. Okay, this amount of money is going to the event. The event is going to be at this place. This amount of money was going to invitations at this place. This amount of money was going for decoration. This amount of money was going to go for food. An itemized list of everything that was going on, the venues that she used, the caterers she's used, things like that. I think that multiple meetings should have happened between everybody who was donating money in their group, so that the people can be like, okay, so I done gave my $2,500. This is where my $2,500 are going. I didn't like the fact that Toya one moment was like she was doing everything on her own, then getting mad when somebody wasn't helping. She was like, I asked for help and nobody wanted to help me, but at the same time, I want to do this all myself. Or her being like, I didn't finish this task and now you want to come along and help. We had Mimi at some scene like, well, y'all was supposed to have this, and y'all was supposed to have this, and y'all was supposed to have this, and y'all was supposed to have that. In my opinion, Mimi is still mad at Toya because Toya kicked her out of her house that time, and she is not forgiving her. So she's going to be like, well, basically, I know what I'm doing, and Toya don't know what she's doing, so therefore I'm not going to get my money, and you're not going to make a fuss about it. In my opinion, Toya did a good job on this event. I said this before. I think Toya should get into party planning, because that is what she has been known for doing. That and drinking wine. We already know she likes to drink wine, so therefore she got into the wine business. She likes throwing parties. I think that would be a good thing for her. Cecil, you like to be in your little downstairs bar and all these drinks, like a little bar lounge. That would be good for Cecil. But we talking about Toya right now. Everybody has showed up. And this is where I'm going to pause. No, we're going to get Mimi and Stevie out of the way right now. Mimi and Steve show up thinking they going to get in for free. And I'm like, where we do that at? So y'all was going to show up, not have a ticket, and eat and drink for free? Because Steve and Mimi feel slighted by Toya. They didn't want to buy a ticket and they didn't want to donate. Now, I didn't like the fact that Steve was like, well, we donated last year. And I appreciate Eugene being like, yeah, that was last year. But, yesterday's prices aren't today's prices. Like, Stevie, I like the analogy that Eugene used. Like, when somebody came to see you on a game when you was playing football, that game was on a Thursday. They paid to get in. When you had your game on Sunday, they had to pay again. Just because you paid last year It don't mean you have to pay this year. You donating is one thing. The ticket to get in is another thing. But see, it's like, oh, so you overdoing all this over $25, $100, $150. That's $300 that we could have been paying in, and you could. No, y'all didn't want to donate. Y'all didn't donate. But you still gotta have a ticket. Buy a ticket to get in. And I don't see anything wrong with that. The tickets were to give to the donation. The money that the groups donated, that was for the venue itself. But the tickets was going specifically for the college fund. And in my opinion, this is my opinion and my opinion alone. Mimi and Steve was so mad that they got kicked out of Toya's party that even though that it was going to like affect the foundation, they were going to do that just to spite Toya. Like they so focused on, I'm not going to donate because this is Toya's event, even though that the money was not going to go to Toya. The money was going to go help two young ladies who were in medical school, which an extra $2,500 would have gone a long way. They were able to raise $10,000 with ticket sales, and I think that is great. And each young lady was able to get $5,000 going towards their college fund, which medical school is costing an arm, a leg, a foot, a tail, a piece of your hair, a little piece of your ear. Like, it is a lot of money, and it's the fact that they were so mad about Toya, they weren't looking at the big picture. But then again, I don't want to be telling people how they spend their money. Y'all, I didn't like Curtis in this "if I offended you or hurt you" apology. I myself do not like the "if I did this to you and it hurt." If. No, you did that and it hurt. You did that and you offended them. There's no if to it. It's like a throwaway comment. It's not even it's not even a throwaway apology. It's not an apology at all. Like, if I hurt you, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry that I hurt you with the comment. And Quiet says it's okay for Curtis to have an opinion because we all have an opinion. But it's coming across as self-righteous and it's coming off as judgmental. And I said that before. He was being judgmental towards them about the way they're living their lives. Which, what Quiet and King got going on does not affect Curtis in any type of way. Now, hold on. I'm going to rewind that. Because it kind of does affect him. But, and not the way you think. Because if they don't go with, if they were going with Jackie to get pregnant, they paid Jackie. You've been offended off of that. And it's the fact that you were up there judging them. That's where you getting your money in your house coming from. Did you not forget that? But in the end, Toya, she pulled the event off. And all the ladies said she did a good job. Heavenly, she had to be shady, like, with her, checking in with us, she failed. But, like, the event, she pulled it off. And, like, I was like, I believe Toya was going to be able to do that because that's what Toya does. She was sending all kind of, text messages about what was going on. She wasn't really communicating with anybody what was going on, but then being mad that they wasn't helping out. I thought that was a lot. But, yeah. That was the gist. If I left anything out, by all means, leave a comment below. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Feel free to subscribe. It is free all day, every day, free $99. Make sure your notifications are also on my beautiful face with a video. You can click on it, you can like it, you can share it to people, and they can come over and be one of my peoples by clicking that icon above. This is Lady T signing off. Have a good one.